what are you guys doing as the city council, as the city of Dallas, to try and preserve the neighborhood?
Well, the first steps we took in 2019, I believe in August of 2019, as a council, a full council, we voted to issue and really support a city order city order which would prevent city ordered demolitions from taking place. So in other words, we issued a moratorium on any city ordered demolitions unless that structure posed a danger to the community. And we define that pretty much as a threat to public health or public safety.
Mhm. So outside of that resolution that came about in 2019, has there been any consideration of updating the ordinance that was issued? So I know right now it says 3,000 square feet structures, right? Has there been any conversation or discussion around dropping that number down?
No, at this point, this is where we are. We've not had that conversation, but what we are involved in is providing a platform for individual homeowners who have interest in renovating their homes. We have provided through council initiative some $750,000 to assist those owners in upgrading their structure. We also realize that there has been a challenge to many of those homeowners who are seeking help from the city because of the lack of clear title, access to a clear title. And historically, we know that some of the properties were passed down through and left to several members of the family. So there's no clear path of ownership. And so we also established some $250,000 to allow those owners to participate in a legal approach, a legal path to clearing those titles, because you can't get the city resources or city subsidies unless you have clear title and clear ownership. And so those are two basic ways that we've started the process of assisting homeowners. And so I'm very happy about those steps that we've taken. But in addition to that, we're also talking to representatives from the Council of Government to provide additional funding for infrastructure, especially since we have the gateway coming in. So we're doing what we can to prevent displacement and thus gentrification. And in addition to COG funding, we also have city resources, and I'll be looking at some streets in the very near future for sidewalk as well as street improvements. So we've got to make sure we have that infrastructure on our side, but it also helps to promote, I guess, the outreach and the partnership that we established with the designation of 10th Street as a historic district, being one of the last freedmen towns here in the city of Dallas that we know of, is incumbent upon us as a city to support as we can. But also on the other hand, it's important that we have the home ownership in a position where they can also work in this partnership.
Right, right. So I want to backtrack to those 2 points that you made. You have 750,000, and then I believe 250,000 or
Yes.
okay. So with the 750,000, let's say for the folks who actually do have their deeds and they're able to legally go through that process, has anyone taken advantage of that money, or have you heard anything about it?
Well, what I am getting from staff is that there are a couple of people who have applied. We are, according to my reports, we're going to go back and look at some of the income requirements so that perhaps we could include more people in the process, which is very important. And so as we move forward, we must have not only that initiative where they are able to move forward, that we not have the income or any impediments to them being able to take care of the process that they are interested in terms of preserving that structure.
And how can people get access to that 700, or the application rather, to apply for that 750?
Well, I think one place to start, and I think is the best place to start, is with the housing department, with David Nagura, who is our director. That's one place to start. But of course, if any of those individuals have concerns or have questions, my office is always available also. So there shouldn't be any impediments in terms of getting information. We've been out here even during COVID with virtual conversations. As time progresses, we will begin to have more face-to-face engagement so that we can bring more people to the table, because we want to move in tandem with the progress that we're seeing along with the Southern Gateway,
Right.
making sure that we don't miss a step. And so
Right.
it's just going to be very important that that those individuals in that community continue to meet. And as I said, as a council member, my goal is to make sure we have strong community engagement and that we reach everyone who has an interest in rebuilding or supporting the renovation of their property.
Yes, ma'am. With the 250,000, do you have any details about what that process looks like for people who do want to go ahead and try to properly get their names on the deeds?
Well, what we did do with that $250,000, we have a partnership, if you will, with Cadillac Law, and that firm primarily deals with individuals who have titles that are tangled and need to be clear. And so once again, those individuals can reach out to Cadillac Law, and that's Cadillac Law with one L. And so that they are very familiar with the program. You could once again contact the city of Dallas through my office, but the quickest way to get the information is through Cadillac Law. And so it's for that community and other communities. Let me be clear about that, but primarily is those communities that have a challenge with getting the money in that historic district, because we don't want, and I continue to repeat this, we don't want to lose that community through displacement or gentrification.
Have you guys worked along with the 10th Street Residential Association at all and listened to some of the ways that they're trying to make it more of like a neighborhood-led plan? I've listened to some of the plans that they have. Have they had any conversation with you in your office about, you know, trying to be included in the process of how things develop in the area?
We have had communications, and up until probably the COVID-19 prior to that, where we were meeting face to face. But I do know that we have had at least one or two virtual conversations. I think the challenge continues to be getting the community engagement in the numbers that we need. Now, the home ownership numbers are very, very low. It's not that you have 200 or 300 homeowners. You do have enough individuals who, because of our outreach, whether we've sent flyers out, going door to door, whether we sent out emails, we have had contact. But the challenge remains staying engaged, because this is a process. You're not going to solve this particular challenge overnight. And so, yes, we've had that community engagement. Yes, we're going to move forward for more engagement. And yes, we are aware of the community members who want to make sure that their hands are on the plans. And so we are open to that engagement with the community, because long term, once again, we want them to be at the table. We want that community to be protected, and we don't want anyone to be displaced or gentrified.
With the 750 and the 250, and this is the last question about the funding. With that, the money, when was that money earmarked for these types of communities?
The renovations, and there are some specifics regarding the renovations, and staff will probably be in a better position to handle just A, B, C, D criteria. But overall, it's designed to help with the renovation. And now, historic properties are very expensive to rehab. We must understand that. And so the homeowner is also responsible for some of the funding, if you will, of their homestead. And so all of it cannot be just all on the city. But I believe we are here for the long haul. And especially as I see it, if we have to reach out to find some historical nonprofits or agencies that will be willing to help, we will do that. But my commitment is that we reach out and bring in as many partners as we can in terms of subsidizing and or assisting, because this is a very expensive process.
Yeah.
So it's important that we put that out on the table so that individuals who are listening and individuals who are interested will understand this is going to be a two-way street. And once again, it speaks to those individuals who own property. We know that there are some residents who are renting, and so it's not their decision to make about the property. So if they live in a property and a homeowner who may be out of town and another, even not living in Dallas, just in the suburbs, but they don't live in Dallas, they may make a decision that they don't want anything done to that home.
Right.
And so that is their decision to make.
Mhm. The resolution, when that was passed in 2019, is that when you guys set aside this money to help out, or when did you guys set aside the money to help out?
No, that was after the fact, because first of all, we had to address the issue of demolitions
Mhm.
and how to proceed,
Yes.
because there were concerns about housing, and prior to me getting here on the council, with court ordered demolitions because of code violations. And so after much conversations and many conversations and outreach, we realized that there was some interest in, and really an obligation some felt that we should have as a city to protect the history of that community. And so, as I stated, you have to roll out, you have to have a game plan, but you have to roll it out. And it takes time. It's no way that one person, one council member can make that decision. It takes 8 members around the council to support that initiative. And so it also takes the community joining in to say, we want your help. So it is a process, and you're probably going to see more resources rolled out in this community will be over time, because we're continuing to study. And of course, COVID did put us back just a little bit in terms
Yeah.
of just being able to go door to door and meet face to face.
But
So
everybody
there,
got
it's a community. You're right, but it's a community that will not be forgotten. It's really one of the major priorities that I have on my list, especially because we're going through a transformation in that Southern Gateway. And
yeah,
so it
yeah.
is my commitment and our city's commitment to do what we can to serve those constituents.
So do you have like a year or a month when that money started, when that money became available for folks?
Uh, I will tell you that I don't have a specific year or a month,
Okay.
but I can tell you it was, yes, we had to start back in 20, it had to be probably in 2020,
Okay.
early 2020,
Just
because we
after the
voted, yeah,
resolution was
we voted
passed.
August 2019,
Mhm.
somewhere in there. So we started out, we had to have a vote, of course, on the funds,
Mhm.
but we also had a couple of, as I stated, virtual meetings. So it's not that we did not reach the public. We did. We met at Eloise Lundy. I remember on a couple of those community meetings, and then we had virtual meetings. So we have engaged.
Mhm. And
We have publicized.
right, last thing here. Do you think, I know you have a lot on your agenda, and I know the council is trying to accomplish a lot. Do you think this conversation at all surrounding taking another look at the ordinance regarding these homes will be discussed in the near future or at all in the next few months?
Well, it is a part of the agenda of District 4 to continue, as I stated. This is a very delicate community, and it's a delicate conversation in terms of which way we should go, which path to follow. But I can assure you that it is a priority. This community will not be forgotten. And so it is our commitment, it is our dedication, and it's our obligation to respond to the needs of this community.